Hey everybody, welcome back to FSi DFS. I'm McKinley412, looking at this monstrous 13-game slate on DraftKings here for the NHL. But before we start talking about the NHL, just want to bring up once again that the soccer room here at FSi is completely free in the month of December. Just head over to our website, fsidfs.com, go to the subscriptions page, and you can get a free month access. We have a new soccer coach. If you are familiar at all with soccer DFS, you know his name. He actually just took second place in the big tournament yesterday, Wednesday. But yeah, his name is Charlie. You've probably seen him around, Charlie Snyder. Here's his Twitter handle if you do want to go and follow him. 15-time King of the Pitch qualifier. That is just unreal what he's able to accomplish. He's going to have some preview videos out as well throughout the course of the year, so make sure you're on the lookout for them. But yeah, so let's just focus on NHL because that's what you guys clicked on this video for. So massive 13-game slate. We got a couple of really heavy favorites. Detroit at home against San Jose. San Jose, though, they have been looking a lot better as of late. And then you have Boston at home against Buffalo. Buffalo not looking so great as of late. Yeah, everybody else, I mean, you can look at all the odds here. No over-unders of 7, which is quite surprising given how large this slate is. But still, everything is pretty even for the most part. Going down here to the projected goalkeepers, again, these are just projected at this time. Some of them are confirmed, and DK does a really good job at making that known well in advance. Other websites you can use are like dailyfaceoff.com or Left Wing Lock. We love both of those sites here. But Talbot, Ingram, those guys have been fantastic so far to start the season with a .930 save percentage. A lot of rough goaltending in the late games, as you can see. Again, projected, but yeah, it's looking a little bit dicey, so there might be some late night hammers with these games. But looking towards the line stacks here, we're just going to start off, and these are in no particular order at all. And this is not all the line stacks I'm interested in. Obviously, Colorado's top line is going to be in play. Boston's top line, Detroit, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so Keller, Cooley, and Schmaltz. We actually hyped this line on, I want to say it was Tuesday, last slate that Arizona was on here. And they came through. They were low owned. They got 3 goals. They got 3 assists. They hit over 60 DK points just with the 3 of them, and very affordable. So Arizona, they're on a great winning streak. They've taken down the previous 5 Stanley Cup winners. Then they took down Washington, and their salaries have not moved whatsoever. And people still aren't playing with them. I think it was just like a decade of DFS play where you just ignored Arizona. But these guys are legitimately good, and they are producing. So I do like this trio of Keller, Cooley, and Schmaltz, all fully correlated on the power play as well. Thumbs up for that. Speaking of guys who we just mentioned, Fiala, Dano, and more. We also hyped these guys up in the last video that the Kings were on, and they did well. They got 2 goals, 2 assists amongst them. And really, Los Angeles on the road has been incredible. They remain undefeated. They're 10-0 on the season. And really, it's thanks to these 3. Now, they haven't been on the same line together all season long. It's just a little bit more recently, but still, all 3 of these guys have been producing or getting most of their production on the road, especially Trevor Moore here, 6.1K. He's averaging close to 17 DK points on the road. Dano, he doesn't give you as much of a floor, but he does give you that goal upside. Fiala and Moore do give you a little bit better of a floor, but still, they all have a great ceiling. The only issue is that they don't all skate on the same power play unit, but still, you're nitpicking at that point. Going on to this line, top line for excuse me, well, kind of the top line for Chicago, Kurashev, Bedard, and then I'm throwing in Seth Jones on defense here. It's a nice little combo that you could be going. Chicago, they're at home. They're against Anaheim. They are technically a home underdog, but Anaheim is still a team that defensively I'm not too worried about. And Seth Jones just remains way too cheap. He's a guy who can get you peripheral stats like in every single category. He's going to get you shots on goal. He's going to block shots. He's going to get on the score sheet, whether it's a goal or an assist. He gets top power play unit time. He's going to see 23 minutes of ice time. So I still think he's just way too cheap. I think he should definitely be more in like the mid 5K range. So I do like Jones, even if it just has like a one-off in cash if you do want to go that route. And then Bedard, 6.9K. Regardless of how bad Chicago has been, he's still living up to the hype of being that next generational talent in the league. So love Bedard there. Khrushchev, he's been a great compliment to Bedard as well over the past month or so. At 4.7K, this line very affordable on home ice. I think it's just a good spot for them. Then we're going a little bit GPP mode, but I do want to highlight. I couldn't go and talk about this slate without talking about Patrick Kane. It looks like Patrick Kane is going to be good to go, making his season debut here tonight on Thursday. If you don't know Patrick Kane, he's essentially a Hall of Famer. He's got multiple Stanley Cups to his name. He spent his whole career, well, not his whole career, he spent the majority of his career out in Chicago, and then he got bumped around to New York. But now he is in Detroit, so it's going to be his team debut. And he just came off of a hip surgery, hip resurfacing surgery, I think it's what it was. But essentially, no other NHL player has ever gotten this surgery before and then come back and really been consistent in terms of their production. Regardless, though, he's going to be in a nice matchup here facing off against San Jose. They're the biggest money line favorites at minus 300. San Jose, they bleed goals. They bleed shots against. They're dead last in shots against, meaning they allow the most goals against. You can see it over here. And he's going to be skating with old teammate there in DeBrincat. So I do think that the chemistry shouldn't be too much of an issue. Maybe the game speed might be a little bit GPP at best, but I do think it's a really intriguing play. Here's some notable special teams before we get into the individual plays. You can see the Islanders in Vancouver, two fantastic offense or power play units so far on the season, facing off the two worst penalty kill units, so you can get a nice matchup there. Tampa Bay against Nashville, and then Toronto against Ottawa. So if you are going with like power play correlation and stacking, these are the four teams I would definitely be focusing on. Here's a bunch of other teams and their lines that also correlate on the power play, meaning they all skate together at even strength and they all skate together on the power play, so it just gives you that extra correlation. If you don't know these lines, like if you don't know who's on Tampa Bay Lightning 1, just like I said, head over to those websites like dailyfaceoff.com, leftwinglock.com. They'll have all that information right there for you. So going over into the individual plays here, Nathan MacKinnon, we'll just start off with Colorado. Anytime Colorado is on home ice, I'm going to have some interest in Colorado. In that top line. That's kind of what I meant. But McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Nichushkin on his left wing. Makar, make sure you're paying attention to the injury news on Makar if you are going with that big Colorado stack. They're very expensive, so it is difficult to get like a trio of them. But if Makar is out, a guy like Taves could see a little bit more of a role. He's kind of disappointing last time out, but you know, if Makar is still out, he's going to be a guy who's going to be thrust into a little bit more of an opportunity. Austin Matthews, he's a guy that you could be pairing with Nylander here. Toronto's going on the road against Ottawa. I expect this game to be quite a bit of a shootout. Let's try to keep the streak going here. We've gotten 3 videos in a row correct with our bet, and we're gonna go with over 6.5 goals here. Let's try to keep it running. I think this game's going to be quite a bit of a shootout. So Matthews, Nylander, and then pairing them with a guy like Morgan Riley here at 5.3K really kind of opens up your salary a little bit. They're all going to be skating together at even strength and on the power play. Next is Miller or Pettersson. Vancouver's at home. I mentioned that Vancouver's a great team to be, targeting and correlating, especially with their power play. Excuse me for coughing. I've been dealing with this cough for a couple weeks here now. But Pettersson, Miller, they're both skating on that top power play unit, but they don't skate together on the same even strength line. It's going to be guys like Kuzmenko down here at 4.1K who's skating with them at even strength. Brock Besser, Mikheyev, those are all guys. Go to those daily face-off sites that I was talking about. But yeah, I could see an intriguing scenario where you play Miller and Pettersson. It gives you that upside of them playing together on the same power play unit, but also gives you a little bit of safety in terms of like you get that goal notification for Vancouver. It's probably going to be one of the top 2 lines, and well, now you have exposure to both of those lines. The only issue is that they're both center. Tavares, Toronto, already talked about that. Islanders, I think the Islanders are going to be pretty popular as well, facing off against Columbus. Columbus is definitely not a team that screams like a defensive ability. So the Islanders could certainly get there as well. Both of those teams really on both sides of the matchup just bleed shots against. You can see here Islanders allow the second most, Columbus allows the fourth most shots against. So it could get kind of shootout friendly in that game. But Nelson, Horvat, I don't mind either of these guys. Nico Hischier is just way too cheap at 4.9K. And then Kerfoot, is looking for a nice cheap guy on the top power play unit. Over towards the wing, Pastrnak. I mentioned Buffalo has just looked really, really bad as of late. Every single game, they seem to be going down like 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 every single time, and it's very frustrating as a Sabres fan. But still, Pastrnak at 9.8K. Even if you want to just do a one-off, I would completely understand that. Or you could pair him with a nice cheap guy like Jake DeBrusk here at 4.5K. They both skate on that top even strength line with Pavel Zacha in the middle. DeBrusk, though, does not skate on the top power play unit, but it is what it is. I think he's still a great play, even in cash games, if you want to go that route, just for a little bit of salary relief and just a great matchup. Tkachuk gives you that shot floor. Brat, you could pair him with Hischier. Barzal, pair him with Nelson Horvat. Svechnikov. Carolina's on the road. I don't really like playing teams on a back-to-back, and Carolina's getting absolutely boat raced against Edmonton. So I don't know what Carolina's motivation, or if they're just going to be like the fire was lit beneath them, or what's going to go on. But I do think that Svechnikov is still a little bit too cheap here at 5.2K. Bjorkstrand shoots the puck a ton at 4.9. At home against New Jersey. New Jersey is not as stout defensively as they have been in the previous years that we got so used to. They definitely allow shots and they allow goals a lot more often than they used to. So I don't mind Bjorkstrand there. Other Seattle wingers like McCann or Tolvainen, those are fine as well. Palmieri, pair him with Barzal or Horvat or Nelson. Then over towards the defense, Josie, you could do him with a one-off. Dobson, pairing him with those Islanders guys that mentioned earlier. Chychrun, if you're going to be going with Tkachuk, pairing him with Chychrun could be a nice mini-stack combo. I talked about Riley. Moritz Seider could go with this DeBrincat, Comfort, Kane. So if you don't want to go with all three of these guys, maybe you go with two of them. Maybe you drop Comfort. Maybe you go with the previous teammates in DeBrincat and Kane, and then add in Seider. So then you get full power play correlation as well, because Seider is going to be on that top line, or the top unit. We talk about Devin Taves, Doughty. You compare him with any of these guys here from Los Angeles. Bulak, Tanev, kind of rounds things out. You're looking for shot block bonuses, essentially, once you get down there. So there's obviously, a lot of question marks still with the slate. It's monstrous. It's 13 games, but we'd love to have you. If you haven't already used it, use the code POWERPLAY. You get a free day of access in our NHL channel. And again, the soccer room is completely free in December. Just go to our website and test it out there. Charlie is phenomenal. I just cannot say that enough. I'm super stoked to have him here at FSi. So thanks for watching. Again, really do appreciate it. Good luck in your contest as always, and we will see you tomorrow.